Bitcoin is dumping because Trump is now recommending 50% tariffs on the EU. And we did it again with an insane short trade. In today's video, we'll be talking about exactly this, going over what just happened and the fact that Bitcoin just dumped below its previous all-time high. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So this just came out right before I was recording my video. Trump recommending a 50% tariff on the European Union. And if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart, we got a massive dump below the previous all-time highs, which were set right around 109.3K. Bitcoin crawled all the way up to just below $112,000, but after this news, we got a massive dump. And as I always say, volatility means opportunity, and this is the exact trade setup that we executed on. Currently sitting right around $27,000 in profit. We shorted immediately when we got this news, and I made sure to share it within my community, so a lot of people are currently printing. First of all, if you'd like to join that community, it is the Telegram link down below, which is the third link in my description. But if you want to trade on this exchange, I have an insane bonus for you. Only the first 50 people can get it. Basically, you can earn up to 15% back in deposit bonuses up to $5,000. That means that if you deposit, for example, $10,000, you would be getting $1,500 back for free for your trading. But if you trade with a little bit more capital and you deposit, for example, $33,000, the reason I use that is because it would equate to the cap of $5,000 in futures bonuses. Again, it is the first 50 people that sign up. It is the first link in my description down below. As you can see over here, bluffing, and you get that crazy bonus. So back to the Bitcoin chart, we did get that massive dump, and this was an incredible opportunity. Now, what is next for Bitcoin? What do you think can happen here? That is the key question. And right now, if we get acceptance below the previous all-time high, it is simply not looking pretty. I really wanted us to consolidate above these levels. And in yesterday's video, you'll remember that we discussed the fact that if we were able to consolidate above this region, we were able to likely move much, much higher. But we need to get that consolidation and not an ugly red candle as we're seeing right now. And of course, when this news came out, it likely shocked a lot of traders, especially all of the people that were going aggressively long. As I said in yesterday's video, you want to wait for the consolidation and not just long when you get a massive green candle. As we can see here, there was over $300 million of liquidations in the past hour alone. In the past 24 hours, up to 400 million. But this just shows this happened extremely quickly. A lot of people longing Bitcoin recently got wrecked. Now, I would imagine that a ton of people tried to jump into this short now. So if I refresh this chart over here, the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, what we can see is that now a lot of people have started to enter shorts, but there is still way more longs in the market. The cumulative long liquidation leverage now sits right around $17.5 billion, and the cumulative short liquidation leverage climbed up to $6 billion. In yesterday's video, you'll remember that the short liquidation leverage was actually only around $2 billion, and up here was up to $22 billion. So a lot has changed in the past 24 hours. Let's see how this develops, but as soon as a lot more people start shorting the market, that is when you want to be careful if you've been shorting. Now, back to the Bitcoin chart. Right now, this is definitely an ugly daily candle for Bitcoin, so make sure you're careful if you're trading this market. Again, if you'd like to trade, you have the first link in my description down below, which brings you directly to Bluffin. And of course, we also have a promotion with Weeks for an alternative exchange. You can earn up to $30,000 in rewards, but for this video alone, I'm really focusing on Bluffin because there's an insane reward and only 50 of you can get it if you're fast enough to sign up and make that deposit. So if we take a look at the stock market, we can see that we got a pretty bloody day, and we look at the pre-market value for stocks, we can see over a 1% decrease for all stocks across the board. Dow futures, S&P 500 futures, and the NASDAQ futures almost down 2% at the time of recording this video. Let's see if this candle can get eaten up. I would imagine that a lot of people tried to jump in the short trade as I did, but usually when this news comes out, you really want to be fast to make those trades, secure those gains, and then you're good to go. And what happened when Bitcoin had this dump? Of course, Bitcoin dominance printed a nice green reversal candle. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance started to trickle down, and then we went ahead and pumped to the upside. I still think that Bitcoin dominance will likely move much higher. And as I've been saying, when Bitcoin pumps, it can drag the rest of the altcoin market with it. And as Bitcoin was actually consolidating up here If we take a look at, for example, the 4-hour chart, this is when altcoins were actually starting to perform a little bit better. But as soon as we got this dump, altcoins got annihilated once again and Bitcoin dominance started to crawl up. And if we take a look at a little bit of a cleaner chart for Bitcoin, we can see that we are still trying to hold this previous high. So if the candle starts looking like this and we do get bought up, I would still be confident in saying that Bitcoin can at least move a little bit higher from here. But right now, as I said, this is not a pretty candle. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. The last thing that we want here is to get a close below the previous high, which is right around 109.5K. If we start closing candles below here, it could very well mean that Bitcoin will be dumping further. So keep your eye on this weekly candle. Now, this might also align with another chart that I just flicked over here, and that is the fact that if we go ahead and connect the tops from the previous 2 bull markets, we can see something interesting that's happening for Bitcoin. First of all, we have the top here back in December 2017. Then we have the second top here at the end of the year in 2021. And now, could we be approaching critical resistance for Bitcoin? Because if this actually plays out, we might indeed get rejected at this level. But if Bitcoin can break above this level and actually hold it as support, at that point, maybe the super cycle theory is becoming a reality. Until proven otherwise, though, I would be very careful aggressively longing Bitcoin here because technically the resistance at this level can be found right around $115,000, give or take a few $1,000s. So this could potentially mark another local top for Bitcoin before we potentially move higher. Or if we do get the consolidation below these key levels and we come back down below 106.2K, it would not be looking pretty for Bitcoin. For now, though, it seems like this dip is indeed getting bought up, which is why I'm very glad that I exited my trade and secured those profits. As we can see here in the background, I did exit out this trade and we made some pretty nice profits. The account is now sitting at just below $300,000. And sorry for how much of a rush I made this video in, but I just wanted to get this out as soon as possible, as soon as Trump went ahead and announced those tariffs. So let's see how things materialize. So far, this is not something that you want to see. And it does tell us that perhaps the trade war is still very much on and not everything was priced in because the market's reaction was not pretty. Now we can see here that we did get a nice decent flush. So if we can hold the current levels as support, maybe this can go ahead and fuel our next leg higher. And before I wrap up this video, let's take a look at our hyper liquid whale here. We can see that he's currently sitting in a $2 million loss on his recent Bitcoin position. Before I recorded this video, when Bitcoin was chilling right around 111.5K, this was $15 million in profit. It goes to show how fast things can change in the market. He is also currently longing Ethereum, sitting at around a $2.5 million loss with his liquidation price all the way down to $400. So it's highly likely this guy will never get liquidated. But the liquidation price for his Bitcoin long is now sitting just below $102,000. So if we lose crucial support levels, there is a chance that he can go ahead and get liquidated. In terms of his Sui trade, he is now down around $1.6 million. And KPepe still up $8 million in unrealized P&Ls. So we'll have to see how this continues to develop. I will make sure to keep you updated on this whale. And that sums up today's extremely quick video. Trump is now considering 50% tariffs on the EU, and as soon as this news came out, markets started dumping. We entered an extremely profitable Bitcoin trade, and I shared it in my community down below. That community is also completely free, by the way. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow in a little bit of a longer, more analysis-driven video. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you then.